been a long overdue episode, right?
It has.
Yeah, very long overdue episode. But of course, wrestling right now, it's crazy, you know, as we've been saying since the start of this podcast. It is a crazy time to be a wrestling fan because you feel like if you miss one pay-per-view, miss one episode as we have been, it's like you miss so much, and there's so much we need to talk about. You know, like if you would have told me 5 years ago that Roman Reigns was going to be champion and the only champion for 3 years, and it was going to be one of the best storylines in WWE, I would have said you're crazy. You know, just as you told me, specifically this episode we're talking about AEW, just as if you told me that CM Punk was going to return, if you told me 5 years ago CM Punk was going to return to wrestling and have one of the worst comebacks ever, I would have said you're crazy. Let's start with talking about that. We got so much to catch up on AEW. We're just going to quickly go through it to try to have a catch-up episode. So by the next pay-per-view, we can, you know, have the, you know, gears turning at full gear. No pun intended. Yeah. Actually, all pun intended. So what do you think about the thing we haven't talked about, thing we've been putting off talking about, is the CM Punk comeback / if you're listening to this, you know about the fight with the Elite and Kenny Omega and other people involved, other people's suspension, other people came back, stripped the titles, but CM Punk still hasn't came back. So is CM Punk really officially done with wrestling? And if he is, why was this the worst comeback ever?
The thing with CM Punk that I have come to realize, I mean, I guess he's always been like that, but like that he's very difficult to work with, and it didn't last very long because
that seems to be the consensus. I don't mean to interrupt you, but that seems to be, I mean, as you know, before we say anything more negative, we are and have been CM Punk fans.
Definitely. And when he came into AEW, he is talking so many good things about specifically the Bucks, right? Specifically about not having any hate or beef with anyone in the locker room. And then, like I said, it didn't take very long that he realized that he doesn't get to make all the decisions in the back, and you know, he just didn't like not being in charge, I guess you could say.
Well, especially because it is a rough, you know, as many people may say, WCW like locker room in AEW, where Tony Khan has his favorites. You know, he has his people that have heat right now for, you know, getting booked on shows and pay-per-views, and those same people end up being the people that hang out with Tony Khan the most. So it's kind of like, you know, there's a certain political divide,
right,
in AEW, as we learned with this situation.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. And, you know, with this fight, you know, the fight obviously occurred after CM Punk went off on after winning the title.
Yeah,
literally has had the title for 5 freaking minutes and is already talking shit about everybody in the back at the media scrum. And then obviously that's when the fight occurred, and then you just haven't seen Punk since then. Dropped the title. And then he's nowhere to be found. And
apparently, if it's true, he's done with wrestling, which is it's just a damn shame. Just a damn shame that he literally has that much pride for himself that you can't work these things out.
Exactly.
You know, like, especially when you had such a good comeback. But and my hope is, like I said, coming from CM Punk fans, my hope is this was a shoot at first, but then they can turn it into a work where CM Punk secretly goes home and takes his time off that he needs to heal and recover, and then he had the welcome home giant comeback. Now he needs to have the shocking, you know, interrupt a match type comeback or something like that. I would, in best case scenario, that's what would happen. But CM Punk just has this pattern of just literally, you know, taking his ball and going home, and it's like that's it, I'm done. And it's like, if that's really the case, then it is his problem, his fault. And it's like, because it's like almost like damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you're on CM Punk's side, you're gonna have, you know, a whole bunch of hate, you know, from the Young Bucks fans, and if you're on the Elite fans, and if you're on the Elite side, you're gonna have hate from CM Punk fans. And like, yeah, of course, I've been a fan of CM Punk since way before the Elite. Wish I can say I followed CM Punk in the Ring of Honor days, but I knew of him, but I really didn't.
Right.
You know, I started following CM Punk, of course, when he came into ECW and then, you know, WWE and all that. So, you know, the rise of CM Punk, at least, you know, I was fortunate enough to witness. But now it's like this comeback. It's like everyone wants to say, like, oh, he had great matches when he came back. You know, he won the title, then he had to lose it, then he wanted to get, or he had to drop it because he was injured, then he won it again. And it's like, I want to say he had a great comeback and great matches, you know, as everyone's trying to be positive, but it's like this, hey, we got to call it like we see it. It was kind of a, you know, there was at least every match he did something where we're like, oh God, this is not CM Punk. You know, I hate to say it, but it is what it is. And maybe I think if he really is quitting and he really is done with wrestling, I don't think it's so much as the problems he had with AEW. I think it's really the problems he had within himself, where he had that insecurity, where he knew he wasn't the same CM Punk. But of course, people with pride like that aren't gonna accept it and say it. Well, maybe he did say it. He said I'm old, tired, and then he blames it on everybody else. But it's just like maybe that was his way of kind of throwing a fit and leaving.
Right, yeah, and that's very well said, and you definitely do make a point, because you could visibly see like how tired he was when he did wrestle. Like, it kind of made you feel bad for him. Like, oh man, this guy's ready to go.
Yeah, he was supposed to have this awesome old man Logan type run,
yeah,
but it didn't work out. I guess it didn't work out unless we're being worked and it's not over yet, which I'm hoping is the best case scenario.
Yeah, never know.
What I mean? Yeah. And so we are in, speaking of world title, we are in the MJF era.
Yeah.
MJF, of course, won against Jon Moxley, and now MJF is your AEW World Champion. If you would have told me 2 years ago that this was going to be the case, I would have said probably so.
Yeah,
probably so.
Honestly, we all saw this coming, and not just because he makes a big fit and just wants money out of all of this, but just the fact that he's just damn good. Yeah, at what he does.
Where do you ultimately see this MJF title run go? I mean, of course, he just went against Ricky Starks for the Dynamite Diamond Ring and the AEW World Title. Of course, MJF won. I think that was more of like, to have his first successful title defense.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good setup, good match. And
it was the promos that they cut before.
Oh, yes.
Spectacular.
Yes. Ricky Starks just roasting it with that roasting MJF promo was just, mwah. That was just a great, I freaking, we were glued to the TV during that promo. That was just amazing.
Yeah.
So like I said, great setup. Ricky Starks, won the tournament to face MJF, and then he won the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. I was kind of disappointed in that because it's like, I guess they did a 2-for-1 to make it like seem more meaningful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, but then with MJF even stating during his like, champion promo his first week back, that he wasn't going to wrestle often. Yeah, did you really expect him to wrestle for the Dynamite Diamond Ring and the title? He
Exactly.
just did a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah, I did not expect that, and I thought at least Ricky Starks deserved something. I was like, at least give him the diamond ring. But I mean, I understand they had to, defend both at the same time.
Yeah, it just makes sense right now for MJF to still. I mean, but it's like, why even compete for it if MJF's gonna have it every year?
Yeah, nobody else has. Yeah, you hold
because it only works. It only works with MJF. Like it seems like. So why even bother?
Right, exactly.
I know you're trying to do something different, which is cool, but it's like I don't know.
Nobody else has ever won the ring.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll figure it out. Hopefully.
Yeah, I do see this title reign like not going as far as like a Roman Reigns title reign. I don't see that happening.
No.
But I think when the right person comes along, now
is he just holding the title for Wardlow? I'm just gonna say it.
Oh, I'd like to see that. He could be, but the only thing that kind of makes me sad is that obviously they just opened up that Bryan Danielson is getting ready to go for it.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks because I think Bryan Danielson should get it, but I think it's still a little too early for MJF, so I see Bryan not, getting what he deserves right now.
He needs to have that one. He needs to have that chase just to show that he's a top guy and he's interested. But I honestly, of course, we'd hope Daniel Bryan to win. But if that's going to be MJF's second defense, of course, Bryan Danielson to win. But if that's just going to be MJF's second defense, I kind of don't see that happening either. But at the same time, Bryan has become an attraction, honestly, where he kind of doesn't need the title.
That's very true.
It's
very true. And what you're saying about Wardlow, like that, like ongoing beef, I feel like simmers like because of everything that they have been through.
The history. It's only right for if we're gonna have it down the line for someone to take the strap off of MJF, it'd be Wardlow. So I would like to see them build a program with that eventually because that's the only way I can see this going. The main big, matchup I'd want to see and the title change that would be right.
Yeah.
But Wardlow is tied up right now with TNT Ring of Honor TV title deal with Samoa Joe. Mr. Joey Samoa. So where do you see this going? I mean, if you were to ask me, I would hope that this kind of goes to something where you combine the Ring of Honor TV. Like you have way too many titles. AEW, you got all the AEW titles. Now got Ring of Honor. You're defending more Ring of Honor titles than you are AEW titles. Like, honestly, like, I don't know why, just because you don't, like, who cares if you may seem like WWE? In the long run, it doesn't matter. Like, Ring of Honor should have been, or should be, in all these freaking letter acronyms and
I
shit.
know, right? You get them all mixed up.
ROH should be AEW's NXT.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Get AEW Dark out of there. Get AEW Dark Elevation out of there. I mean, keep one maybe, but just for
YouTube,
like a level up, like right. NXT level up, which basically they just copied from Dark Elevation. Exactly. It's like, it's wrestling, people. There's only so many formats you can do. Yeah. ROH should be. It's a perfect opportunity for ROH to be AEW's NXT. And have it. You can even put that on YouTube. NWA's on YouTube. That's doing all right. Maybe, but put ROH on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing with this. This is the one thing that it's like, if I don't like it, and I can imagine like other like casual fans that aren't really in the know. But then again, we were talking about AEW fans really are. Like there seems to be a level of smart markness to the AEW fan that the WWE casual WWE fan might not get.
Yeah.
For example, Action Andretti. We'll talk about him in a second, but this Wardlow, Samoa Joe. Yeah, I would hope they're gonna combine Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor TV title with the TNT title, because they're not even really on TNT anymore except for 1 hour on Rampage a week.
Right.
Now is a perfect opportunity to cut down some of those titles that you have. And do you see that going, or where do you see this going?
I see it going. I'd like to see it going there. Because like going back to what you said about there's just too many titles, and there's actually been people have kept count. You see everybody, all these wrestling wizards come out on Twitter, but that in an episode of Rampage or Dynamite, sometimes Ring of Honor is mentioned more than AEW or Dynamite or Rampage.
Yep.
So it's like, I understand Tony Khan trying to like revive Ring of Honor, like after he
but like you're still trying to build your own fucking brand.
Exactly. Like you're still trying to work on AEW. So it's just like, man, he's just going too fast, too quick. So yeah, going back to those titles, I definitely like to see that combined.
Yeah. And
it makes sense.
Ring of Honor, I mean, unpopular opinion, Ring of Honor has its stars, but it's like, or had its stars and built its stars, but it's like, it's like, focus on AEW. You're supposed to be like in a way different link than Ring of Honor, but yet you're gonna, like, I mean, at this point, you might as well just change AEW to Ring of Honor if you're just gonna keep this path.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the deal. What if he actually did that?
Like
changed it from all the wrestling. Like, think of all the wasted marketing money if that's the case.
Right? No, that'd be no. I can't see that.
It's possible, right?
Yeah, All Elite Honor.
No, not combine it. Just change it to Ring of Honor. Maybe he wants to take out the Elite name because the Elite.
Right.
No, I don't see that happening. But that would be a crazy. Yes, if we saw that in the headline one day, whoa.
Yeah.
Would I shit out my ass? Speaking of, let's jump to Action Andretti.
Yeah.
With the biggest upset of the cinch against Chris Jericho. Now, I'm going to say that's how you make a star in one match. What do you think? What did you think about that?
Night. From the beginning, like, okay, so before this match, Jericho had already cut a promo saying that he was going to have to face this jobber. So when Action Andretti came out and he was actually good, the crowd started cheering, "Let's go jobber," which I thought was freaking hilarious, because you don't hear that in a WWE show.
Exactly, like I was talking about, the level of smart markness.
Right, exactly. So, the fact that to be able to go up against somebody like Jericho, and for Jericho to be able to put him over that quick in a match that was less than 10 minutes, maybe, but no pun intended, Action Andretti, but it was action packed.
It was. Yeah, literally it was.
Yeah.
That was just that was good. But now it's up to AEW to see where it goes from here. They can either continue to build him, or they can put him off TV for weeks like they do with people when somebody you have a freaking cool debut
Mm-hmm.
or you have a star making moment and then they're like, oh wow, that was great, he's trending on Twitter, and then you do nothing with them for weeks, and then you put him on TV after a month and you're like, why isn't this guy over? I thought he was over. It's like, well, that's what happens when you put him on, when you're like, oh, you did a great job, now let me go put you on YouTube for a month, and then you'll come back and you'll have a match on Dynamite again.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah, but apparently what I saw about this was that this has been planned with Jericho for a few weeks now.
Nice.
Because Action Andretti appeared in a AEW Dark episode back in October, and after Jericho saw it, he realized like this guy has potential.
Wow.
He's like, let's do something with him. So yeah, that for Jericho to say that about you, it's
that's awesome.
pretty good.
That's awesome, and him being the one to put him over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a moment.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a moment. What do you see happening with the JAS right now?
I don't know. I feel like they're kind of all in their own space. You have Sammy Guevara being Sammy Guevara and just like calling out random people just because he like, just wants to have, beef with everybody. But and then you have Daniel Garcia just lost the pure champion.
To Yuta.
So he's over here having to shadow Sammy Guevara, which he's not liking. So I see.
So
him...
you see, it's another like,
yes.
oh, just recycle this Daniel Garcia
exactly,
thing.
yes. And then you have Jake Hager. The only thing going for him is that purple hat right now.
Put that purple hat.
Yeah.
Put him on a whole new level.
Yeah, and then 2.0, and then Jericho. Jericho just lost the Ring of Honor title back to Claudio. So.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where I see JS going right now.
And where's Claudio? What about the BCC? I mean, obviously, William Regal is going to be heading back to WWE after 2023 to milk his injury.
Yeah, right? A whole ass year.
Yeah, and speaking of WWE, just a little flip the side of the coin, I do love that Gunther and Ricochet, when their little contract signing before the Intercontinental title match, when a little flip of the coin of Gunther saying, we're not entertainers, we're pro wrestlers. Like,
right.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that was a moment in Triple H's WWE, because you would never hear that in Vince's WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of which, I mean... We'll talk about. Oh gosh, see,
I know there's
crazy
so much.
There's so much. It's crazy when we just do.
We can't even
episodes.
get into the Mandy thing.
The Mandy Rose release.
We're gonna have to do another. We're gonna have to do another episode soon.
We say that, but we never do.
Yeah, I know, but
that's why we just stick to rating pay-per-views. But for the sake of catching up, yeah, we got to do.
Yeah.
We'll quickly talk about those two things at the end.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with talking about low WWE.
Yeah.
So the BCC, of course. You got this Jon Moxley Hangman blood feud going on, which is going to be awesome.
Right.
Yuta, has.
Yuta got his pure champion back.
Yeah.
So he's just doing
Brian is going for the title probably. Yeah. Where do you see Cesaro? Is really just kind of.
Claudio.
He doesn't. Wow. Even says I wrote down Cesaro. That's why. Wow.
Oh wow.
It just
Yeah.
That just goes to show
Yeah, when they're known for something for so long, you can't just erase it.
Like Saraya.
Yeah.
We'll get to her in a second, but yeah, where do you see Claudio?
I guess just continuing to defend the ROH champion, because I feel like JAS and BCC are like kind of in their own worlds right now.
It's like a lingering moment.
Yes.
And it's because when's the next AEW pay-per-view? That's why.
March.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa. The next of course there's going to be, we're in that lingering period right now of AEW where it's like, the feuds aren't starting to be set up yet, but March
5th, Revolution.
These TV pay-per-views, these winters coming and all that bullshit, like this doesn't work.
He does Battle of the Belts more, and I can't stand Battle of the Belts because they're a waste of time.
Battle of the Belts, it's Battle of the Belts, but it's just going to be an hour of 3 titles being defended, and 2 of them are going to be Ring of Honor titles.
And retained. No title changes.
Tony Khan, this isn't like when we played with, toys and we had our little notebook of matches when we would put, and I say we because I would do the same thing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing as putting Spider-Man versus Gambit for the Cruiserweight title, okay? It's not the same thing as putting the Hulk versus Triple H for the world title, all right? Wolverine versus Jericho for the Intercontinental title. This is like how I would write down matches when I was a kid is how Tony Khan is writing booking AEW.
Right.
He's like, let's put this guy and this guy. It's gonna be a great match. You don't want to miss it. It's gonna be a great match that you saw 10 times already, but you don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is with that, with Tony, is like he's good at pairing people, but he kind of has his weaknesses making matches.
Yeah, inexperience.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
This isn't the Jaguars, you know? This isn't football. Okay? This is pro wrestling, people.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just kidding. I mean, I enjoy AEW overall, but just saying, some of the bookings sometimes are just like, come on,
I
what
think
are
we can
doing
all agree
here?
with that.
What are we doing here? So Saraya had her first match back. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I don't know where she's going from here, though. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and I was
Putting
definitely
the
kind of
women's
scared for her.
Locker room on notice. Oh yeah, with every move, when anyone's first match back. I remember Brian's first match back. I was like, every move, yeah, you're like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, is she okay?
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think Saraya will eventually go for the AEW Women's title.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be cool. Maybe for the next pay-per-view, they'll line that up.
Do you think Britt Baker's going to go for the AEW Women's title first against Jamie Hayter? Got the story already, seeds already planted for that.
Yeah.
Been planted.
Mm-hmm. Because Britt Baker still continues to say that she created the, she runs the women's locker room. She created the women's division. So rightfully, she feels that title is always going to be hers. And I think eventually when the time is right, she's going to betray Jamie and say, hey, you have my title. So yeah, I definitely see that coming.
Do you see Sasha Banks going to AEW? Like the rumor
No.
mills. I mean, she's going to Japan right now. One of the top most paid stars in Japan. Apparently.
Yeah, because they can afford her. But Tony Khan is probably like
Tony Khan can afford her.
Yeah, he can. But does he want to?
True. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Jade and the TBS title. Where do you see this going? I mean,
this has been ongoing for so long.
Combine the Ring of Honor Women's title and the TBS title if you're gonna do.
Yeah, and tell me why Jade is feuding with Bow Wow right now. Like, what even is that? I can't even know. Like, why?
I'm a fan of Jade's. I like her defenses, her title defenses. Been good matches, but yeah, this is another one that's been lingering, not just in between pay-per-views, been lingering for about a year. But I think they're just doing it for, they're holding her off for, I guess, the
low-key waiting for Chris Statlander to come back and dominate.
Yeah, exactly. So be looking forward
injury.
to that. Of course, we mentioned the Elite already, but the Elite and Death Triangle are doing this best of 7, World Series, basketball-like series for the tag team titles. I'm actually liking these matches. I know a lot of people said they didn't want to see this over and over, but these are probably two, along with the House of Black, Elite, House of Black, and Death Triangle would be my top 3 factions, teams, trios, whatever you want to call it, in AEW. So I'm really enjoying these matches, and the fact that we're gonna mix it up now for it's their 4th already, right?
Yeah.
Their 4th match, because it's 3-1. Of course, the Elite are gonna win the next couple to make it tie 3-3, and then they'll have the final match, which hopefully keeps with this pattern, as the next match they have is going to be a no DQ. So hopefully it keeps with the pattern of that.
No, okay, you missed this, so I want to inform you of this. So they said that this next match is going to be no DQ. If it goes to the next one, it's going to be no false count anywhere. And then if they get to the last one, it's going to be a ladder match.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that. Thank you. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna. It's gonna get to the ladder match, and that's. Oh man, we're in some. Yeah. This is honestly, I think this is the best part about AEW, and it's just like the typical answer or typical definition of the difference between AEW and WWE. But it's just basically how I told my dad. It's like WWE is more like the entertainment, the show, the sportsmanship, the. Ooh ah, big screen, fireworks, bah.
Yeah.
AEW is for the Mark wrestling fan. And the Mark wrestling fan in me is just gonna love the rest of the series between the Elite and Death Triangle.
I remember when they announced it, I was like, 7 matches of the same people, but every match since all the first 4 matches have given. So. And
it's just like any other routine. The more they work with each other on a regular basis like that, the more amazing the matches are gonna get.
Yeah.
Stink and Stink and Darby.
Stink and Darby.
I accidentally wrote Stink instead of Sting. I was tired when I wrote these notes.
Yeah.
They're kind of just lingering too, along with Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, the Slapnuts crew.
Oh god, Jeff Jarrett just annoys me.
I guess they're feuding with the Acclaimed right now.
Yeah, they are. Jeff Jarrett came
Tag
out
team champions, the Acclaimed.
On Dynamite and smashed his guitar over Macacaster's head. Pretty gnarly. But yeah, that's what's going on there right now.
Are we going to get Jeff Jarrett as a tag team champion. Him and Jay Lethal beat the Acclaim for the tag team titles. Can you see that happening?
No.
That's nuts.
Jeff Jarrett, go back to bed.
That was probably, what if that was part of his contract? He had to win a tag title.
I don't know. I do not see that happening,
Go
nor
to
do I
bed,
want
Jim.
to see that happening.
Speaking of go to bed, they didn't put Jim Ross to bed before Rampage.
Jim Ross. Ladies and gentlemen,
I
it's
love-
Friday night. You know what that means. AEW Dynamite is on Wednesdays. This is Friday.
You know what that
Rampage.
means? It's AEW Dynamite. I think he said it twice in a row.
Yeah.
He tried to correct himself and he messed up again.
Yes.
It's like Hulk Hogan. You actually think I was just the right gay guy at the right time?
Oh, God. It's too funny.
Oh, God. Yeah, the New World Organization.
Yeah.
Swerve and Keith Lee, that's a feud going on right now.
Yeah. I think they're about to wrestle each other. What?
It's just like, yeah, that just defines it. That's a feud going on right now. Yeah.
Literally. They are getting ready to wrestle, though, so I'm hoping that afterwards it's over, because it's just been lingering. That's the thing with AEW, everything just lingers.
Because it has to versus, it seems like the other side of the coin has just been nonstop action.
Yeah.
Total nonstop action. No pun intended.
But there's some things that I could handle the linger, and some things like this I just cannot.
Like, for
get to
example,
the point.
For example, Roman lingering as champion, while
Yes.
they're, simultaneously making an amazing storyline in the background.
Yes. And I'm sorry, but I can wait as long I can wait as long as WWE needs to with this Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy thing. Like, I invested. I want to know who else.
But the Bray Wyatt segments are just known to just just like that, just like the word of the day, just to linger on. And it's like, okay, we're gonna do half a thing every week until we finally build up to, what we need to build up. But by the time we build up to it, you're gonna be so uninterested, because it's like the boy who cried wolf syndrome. You're just gonna be like, oh, this is nothing, and then something happens. You're like half excited because, you're just dragged out by that point.
Man.
Jungle Boy, I guess, is like the giant killer now gimmick. I guess we're gonna see an odd pairing of Jungle Boy and Hook, which hopefully is a one-off, because I wouldn't want to see that on a regular basis, but it would be an interesting one-off.
Yeah, it's
What if
interesting for a one-time thing.
Yeah, I thought originally, or maybe they're still planning this, but this is a good way to do a heel turn for Hook. But then, maybe not, because like Hook kind of doesn't need a heel turn anyway. I like the kind of like enigma, no pun intended, mysteriousness of them, but
right.
And at the same time, like, Jungle Boy doesn't need too many people turning on him. It's like everyone turns on Jungle Boy.
Yeah, right.
Xbox says 18 items on your wish list are on sale. I doubt it.
$2 off.
Right, literally. Yeah. So, what do you think about this in the firm and Big Bill?
And Big Bill. Yeah. So originally, that's how this whole Hook and Jungle Boy thing started. Was because he called out Big Bill, and then Stokely Hathaway came out with Lee Moriarty, and that's how they're doing that tag team match. But Big Bill, why?
Yeah,
why?
I don't understand that.
Like, why? You couldn't think of anything else? Anything
The
more
Big Bill?
catchy?
I think a Little Bill.
I know, right?
The opposite of Little Bill.
Little Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just see how that
I
plays
don't know.
out.
Jungle Boy is just being placed somewhere, I think, for now.
Yeah. The All Atlantic title. The title that we didn't know was going to be announced when it was, nor did we want it.
Just another title to add to the list.
Just another tittle to add to the list. That's a little insider there.
Yeah.
I'll tell that story one day actually, I can tell it on this story one day, because it is a wrestling related inside joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do that next time. Just like everything else. I don't know, kind of lingering. Word of the day, the linger. I mean, of course, fan of
we
Orange
should have a
Cassidy.
linger count.
Right? A fan of Orange Cassidy. I'm a fan of Bad Friends Best Friends. I'm thinking of the podcast Bad Friends. I'm a fan of Best Friends and the lingering Danhausen, because they had nothing for,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They made Danhausen turn heel at the last pay-per-view.
Not really
not
heel.
I'm
Just
sorry,
kind of
spooky.
Like a darker gimmick.
Right. Sorry, I did not mean that. Yeah, not heel, spooky. And I don't know. He just looks the same to me now, still. And they have yet to put him in a match.
I just think that's another thing, another quirk with Tony Khan, is he just doesn't understand, like, the supernatural, like, type gimmicks.
Yeah.
Broken Matt Hardy was another one he just didn't understand and regrets, and it's like,
Yeah.
You know, that's yeah, that's a mastery that WWE has. You know, starting with the Undertakers and the
Right.
Kanes and the Bray Wyatts
Right.
and the the Visceras, the
But,
Gangrels.
yeah, but you would think that those, like, he would be fans of those, so he would, like, want people like that in his organization.
Yeah, but I just think he doesn't know how to do it. Like Abaddon. Abaddon's a great, like, Abaddon would probably be, at least, had an NXT title run by now.
Right.
But he just doesn't know what to do with her in AEW, and it's like, it's a shame because she's actually, the gimmick is awesome. The people, there are horror fans that there's a cross. That's the beauty about wrestling. There's crossovers and everything, and there are horror fans that love, wrestling as well. So it's cool when you see that crossover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously. For sure. We'll end with Dark Order because it's been kind of just kind of rough year for Dark Order, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
And Preston Vance is no longer with them. Or -1.
I don't know why they did what they did. I guess it's because Andrade has yet to come back. He's apparently injured, but apparently suspended.
And apparently going to WWE. We don't know.
Exactly. So that's just like all up in the air right now. But I guess they needed somebody to fill
Linger.
in. I guess they needed somebody to fill in for him. With the Roosh, and their faction. So yeah, however you pronounce it. But yeah, it's just like, I just don't get it. Like, it's weird for me to see him in a suit.
Yeah, just a gimmick change, good gimmick change. They had to do it.
And how douchey he is now.
Yeah.
And then he like had do what he did. I know.
I'm interested.
Yeah. I mean,
I just don't know what the future holds for Dark Order.
Right? Yeah, because now they're down one less member.
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
because it's like you can't break them up because then it's like,
what are they gonna do? Wait for -1 to be 18?
Yeah. Actually, two other ones. I don't know how we missed these. We can't end unless we talk about these. FTR, great title runs. They're starting to, maybe they're chipping down the titles. They still got the.
It probably became too much to carry.
Right, they still got the IWGP tag titles and the AAA titles. But
yeah.
I would have liked to see them with all of them, with the Ring of Honor and the AEW, kind of like a tag team Kenny Omega when he did that. Man, that was a good time in AEW when Kenny Omega had all the titles. I
remember a picture of him. Right, he has a picture.
Were you actively watching AEW back then? That was literally like a year ago.
Oh, well, a year ago, then yeah.
Your memory's just...
My memory's just boggled right now. It's so bad.
And House of Black, now they talk about a great comeback that they have when everyone thought that Malachi was going to the dub.
Yeah, he just needed some time off. You don't gotta make rumors.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really nice to see all of them back. Love Julia Hart. She's so much better than the cheerleader gimmick. And then Varsity Blondes. Varsity Blondes are missing. Like, where are they?
Well, Griff Garrison just had I just saw on Instagram he had a procedure day for something. He was in the hospital.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what they're doing, the recovery.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. There's so many people in the AEW roster that it's like, it's like that's the problem. Everyone notices. It's you sign so many people, you have nothing to do.
You saw that photo on, we saw that photo on social media of all the people that AEW has signed in 2022, and it's like half of them are like, where are they? Like, where did he put them? He's paying them to do what? So.
Yeah, I love AEW, but get your shit together.